working with tabs in InDesign. So tabs are ways that we can position text at a specific horizontal location within a text frame. So let's go ahead and just open the tabs panel or the tabs ruler, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. So to open the tab ruler, I need to select the text. I'm going to use my selection tool and select this text frame. Now we have all kinds of customizations available after we open the tab ruler, so we don't have to have our text frame be absolutely perfect at this time. So with this selected, I'm going to navigate up to my type menu, and I'm going to choose tabs. Falls right underneath character and paragraph. So when I do that, if I had selected my text frame prior to opening the tabs ruler, it will then be what's called anchored or aligned with my text frame. So you can see that it lines up right with the edge of my text frame. Now to show you, if you happen to slide this off, it's no longer aligned. Very simple to get it back. The little horseshoe magnetic icon here, it's called Position Panel Above Text Frame. You click that and it will realign. So don't worry if you accidentally click and drag. So by default, we do see that that left edge of the white ruler in the tabs dialog box is aligned with the left edge of the text frame. And again, we can realign that if we need to. All right, so I can choose many different types of tab alignments in InDesign. They are located right here at the beginning, and they're indicated by a different type of an arrow. So the first one has a little bit of a jog in the top part of the arrow, if you notice that. This is the left justified tab, and it aligns the left side of the text at that specific tab stop. The next one is centered, and just as you would center text, it centers the text on either side of the tab stop. The third is the right justified tab, and of course, just like our alignments, that aligns the right side of the text at the frame stop. And the last one is aligned to decimal tab. And this one would allow us to align the text at a decimal point or a period within the text. I can use other characters such as an asterisk or a $sign with this one. And so that one can be customized. I would simply just click on my decimal alignment tab, and on my align on little text box here, I would select the period and enter whatever other character you'd like to align it on. So very simple to use. Okay, so how we create a tab in the tab ruler. Right now I have no tabs in here. So what we need to do is we can select our text, and if we wanted to, we can use our type tool to select the text. Let's just say we put it before the number purchased, and I use my left justified tab, and I can simply just click in the ruler. Now notice when I click, it does become highlighted here, and I do see a location in my X box, my X text box right here. So one way is to just simply click, and one is to click and putting in a number, pressing my tab key to see where that goes. So see how I had that selected? I changed it to a different type of a tab and a different location. So we can change our tabs by just clicking once our tab stop is selected, clicking on the different types. Very, very easy to do. So whatever method, whether you want to just click and drag right on the ruler, or you can click the tab button and enter that in if there's no tab selected. Now to apply this, like I said, I positioned my text right there, my text cursor, and I'm going to just press my tab key on my keyboard. Oops, I need to make sure that's selected. Here we go. So every tab is moved to that spot. To remove a tab, you can select the tab stop and simply drag it off. Or you can go to your menu here and you can choose clear all. When I choose clear all of the tabs are removed. Let's step through the tab process one more time. So I need to select my text box with my selection tool. With that text box selected, I'm going to go to my Type menu and locate tabs. So when I do that, my tabs ruler will be aligned with my text box. Remember, if I mistakenly drag it off so it's not aligned, or I resize something, I can just use my little anchor here, position the panel above the text frame, and it will snap. So to change my types of tabs, I can click on the options is here. And remember, you can click right on the ruler to add it. You can also specify the exact amount by typing in the number in this text field. So once I've gotten my different tabs, we'll add a couple more here, I can go ahead and apply those. So I'm going to use my Type tool, and I'm going to select and click Tab. Now if you did not already apply it with the Tab ruler and just use your Tab key on your keyboard, by default InDesign will go 1/2 of an inch. So every tab space is 1/2 of an inch. When you specify with the ruler, then you get to locate it exactly where you want that to be. And you can see how easy it is to apply it. Now if I wanted to, I could change this to become a center. And by doing that, you can see how it relocates. So easy to switch and change your mind as you go. Very nice tool. The profit, I could put something such as a line to a decimal. And so even though this one doesn't have a decimal, if I start entering in numbers here, so let's just say we type in some numbers, and the profit, maybe we've gained $67.00. So if I have this selected, I can make sure that my alignment will be on the decimal, and see how now it aligned it. So all of my numbers here will be to that decimal. Okay. So very nice. Now if we wanted to do some customizations here, we can add what's called an inset. And the inset is a way that we determine how far from the edge of the frame the text is positioned, or we would say inset into the frame. So it's visually unpleasing to have this text be so close to the edge of the frame. And so when we use, our tabs, I said it aligns right to the edge there, but it will also, the tabs really, instead of aligning to the text frame, what they really are aligning to is my inset. So let's go ahead and change the inset. I can leave my tabs ruler up. I can leave that up during all of editing if I'd like. So with my selection tool, I'm going to select my text box. I'm going to navigate this time to my object menu, and we're going to find our text frame options. So in our text frame options, we have our inset spacing. So the inset may be locked, in which case when I choose to increase it, it's going to increase on all of them. I do want to make sure that I choose preview so that my preview is on. And you can see as I increase this that it's increasing on all sides. If I unlock that, I can really customize and have my sides be different than my top and bottom. You can see how I can do that. Okay, so the inset is really a way to get that text inside of that frame a bit, and you do want to pay very close attention to this option by clicking OK. Now at this point my ruler is not aligned, so let's realign it with my little anchor over here and see how now it snaps to that inset. So you do want to make sure you're paying attention to that, and you always do want to align that tabs here. So that's the inset. One more feature that we have dot leaders, and this is a case where I could select my second tab here, and in this tab it's right now a left justified. I can make it be center, and the dot leader basically is having InDesign, it's giving us the capability to fill this empty space. So between tabbed materials, it repeats a character. most common is a dot. So here you can see that now I have the dots going across. And you can do that with all of them if you'd like. So here again, I want to change this to center, and I'll put a dot leader of a period in there. And if I wanted this to be stretched a little bit more, I could put a space. And see now how we get a different type of a pattern there. So an interesting thing that we can do, I just put a dot space dot. Basically a dot space does the same thing. So you can change how that will look. One last thing that we need to talk about are adding what we call paragraph rules. Rules, remember, is just a horizontal line. And many times a rule is added above or below text. So InDesign considers this as being a paragraph attribute or part of my text formatting within my paragraph. And what happens by InDesign doing this is that then if my text is resized, the rule resizes to match that text. So we would define our rules in the paragraph rules dialog box. Rules are typically specified in points, and they do look the best when they're slightly below the baseline. So let's go ahead and open this up. I need to find my paragraph panel. That's where I'm going to locate this. So if you don't have it open, of course we can go under type and choose paragraph. That opens it. Or you can go to window and go to type and tables and open paragraph there. It's the same panel that will open. So while I'm in paragraph panel here, I'm going to use my options menu. And in the options menu, you will find paragraph rules. When I click paragraph rules, a dialog box opens. And here I get a chance to choose if I want to have a rule below or a rule above. Be careful, because if I choose rule above and turn it on, not realizing that I did that, and choose rule below and turn it on, now I have two rules. So it's one or the other. Don't check both of them. Let's go with the rule below. So the rules are measured in weight of points. So similar to how we would draw a stroke and choose its thickness by the point. So we also have a color option where we can choose to color it. We can choose a dashed stroke, and that in that case we would have a gap color. That would be the space in between the dashes. Over on the right side here we have a type option, so we can choose the type, and that goes directly to the strokes that we have available in InDesign. The offset is the most important piece here, because we do want to offset this rule from our baseline. Remember, the baseline is where we rest our text. So typically we want to go a couple points off of the baseline. A positive number here is going to move the rule down. So you might think, well, positive would be moving it up, and actually it moves it below. And you can see when I clicked to increase that offset, my rule now went below. I'll click again, and you can see how that drops it. So positive is actually moving the rule down from the baseline. Like I said, it's slightly best visually if that rule is around 2 to 3 points offset. Now that totally depends on your size of your font, size of your text frame. Here I'm only offsetting it 1/8 of an inch, and it's about where I want it to be. So that's the rules. And remember, when we talk about rules, we're talking about just lines. I'm going to OK on this. And you can see, so it went with the text color. So the text color here was blue, I got a blue rule. Here it was black, I got a black rule. So this becomes a paragraph attribute. All right, so working with tabs, making sure that you think about your inset, and then also applying rules. Really great tools in InDesign.